What is Adam Silvering? The Jeopardy answer for fixing something that isn't broken.
It's a young samurai, I smoke a spliff in the cut, then I pass a lot to my bro. No fuck with my flow. Couple bad bitches and a cup of that tro. So it's just THC.
BBN, Jack Frost, what's up, party people? So, there's going to be some changes in the NBA next season, whether people know it or not. And so they had a meeting, the NBA officials. And for some strange reason, LeBron was there. Not for nothing. Link is in the description. I was just looking at Carsino's video on this, and that's what made me decide to do a video on this, because I have not been following the NBA that much. I haven't been keeping up on sports like I usually do. Just a lot of life changes. So yeah, LeBron James was in the meeting. Shouldn't Chris Paul be there? Like he didn't say Chris Paul wasn't there, but shouldn't Chris Paul be there? Like, why is LeBron there? He's not the head of any uh, NBA Players Association or anything like that. And did I miss something? Did something happen I don't know anything about? Anyway, so they plan on having some rules changes. And to be honest with you, all of these rules changes that was mentioned, I don't understand. None of them make any sense. They want to reduce timeouts from 18 to 14. I mean, I don't understand how that makes any sense. Maybe they want to make the games quicker, so they want to give less timeouts, but that doesn't make sense to me, because you need timeouts in order to have commercial breaks in order to pay the bills. So that doesn't make any sense. And you're only going to get 2 timeouts in the last 3 minutes. So once again, how could coaches coordinate efforts with the players if you only got 2 timeouts in the last 3 minutes? Like, that means you can't even save your timeouts. What's going on there? That shit is retarded. But whatever. Also, they're gonna go to a top 16 teams make the playoffs rather than East and West. Look, they're just doing too much at this point. Every league has their conferences. Removing the conferences is not going to make basketball better. I think right now they're just giving in to anything that the players want. I think they're scared of the players at this point. I think the players just have too much power in the NBA. And I'm not trying to say that to be like, oh man, I'm on the slave master side. No, I'm not saying that at all. And I'm not calling the owners slave masters. I'm just to point that out real quick. But I'm just saying, like, seriously, just too much power by the players. No, because for the last couple of years we've been hearing that a lot of players want there to be a top 16 teams because the East has been weak and you don't want to have some of the East teams. No, that means that the teams in the East, you got to play fairer. I watch games where the calls is just horrendous. Where it's just, and I'm not just talking about against my Knicks in general. I'm just saying, just in general. I've watched Orlando games where Orlando just get no calls. Like, it's just, and I'm watching the game like, what in the hell? And every single call goes for the opposing team. At this point, I don't think the problem with the NBA as much is a lack of talent, as much it is, organizations ran incorrectly, the inconsistent refereeing, uh, inconsistent use of the actual calls that they have. Like, in one game they'll use the same call like 2 different or 3 different ways. There's no consistency. Think about it like this: when you got a guy and he's at the playing baseball, and you see that the umpire is calling low strikes, so you're throwing, you're trying to hit the bottom of the strike zone, and then all of a sudden he stops calling low strikes in the second inning, and in the 5th inning now he's not calling the low strikes. That's why you see a lot of pitchers get upset. Because, okay, you're calling the low strike. You got to call the low strike through the whole game. You can't decide now at the freaking 6th or 7th inning that you're not going to call the low strikes no more. You can't allow for you can't call the strike on the inside corner and then, the 6 or 7. You can't call the strike on the inside corner in the first 2 innings, first 3 innings, first 4 innings, and then after that decide that you're not going to call the strike on the inside corner. This is what the NBA consistently does every game. They'll call the 1 minute. They'll call the extra, step. You know how all the NBA players do. They catch the ball. They take that one step that they're not supposed to take before they drop the ball sometimes. Sometimes they call it. Sometimes they don't. Call it every time or don't call it. That's all I'm saying. Don't ever call it or call it every time. Or at least when you're going to call it consistently throughout that game. We understand. Making calls in any sport is subjective. Just have the same criteria when the game starts to when that specific game ends, and there won't be an issue. People will say, well, that's the way he calls the call. That's the way they call the game. That's it. It was called the same way for both teams. That's it. Now, that's why I think that there's a lot of problems with the teams in the East. I think the teams in the East, look, come on, the Hawks, how much notoriety do they get? You know how many teams in the West they'll play against, and the teams in the West will have more notoriety than them, so they're just not going to get calls. Orlando Magic is just not going to get calls. Teams in the West have more notoriety. They're just not going to get calls. Right now, the 76ers, they'll be lucky to get calls against anyone. And that's crazy because right now they have a squad. But they've been tanking for so many years that the refs are just, accustomed to not giving them calls and them not really caring. That's just the way it is. Also, they want to start the season earlier to eliminate back-to-back games. Look, man, I get so tired of when I hear these dudes that's never really seen teams play in the 80s, never really seen teams play in the 90s, and they try to say teams now are better. They're not. You know how much better Michael Jordan would have been if he only had to play one back-to-back every now and then? You know how much better Larry Bird would have been? He would have been able to get more rest. Think about it. Larry Bird only played, 16 seasons? He would have been able to get, 13 seasons. He would have been able to get more rest. You got to think about it like that. People don't think about it like that. They just say, oh man, this guy could do this and this guy could do that. Well, yeah, he gets a lot more rest. I'm pretty sure they used to have teams play 3 games in 3 nights. I remember teams used to have 2 back-to-backs in 1 week. Now, it's just different. But I understand. They want to protect their investment. They pay the players a lot more now. They want to protect their investment. But some of these rules changes just don't make sense to me. It's not incompetence as much as it is, just not really caring about tradition. That's the thing that makes baseball. See, baseball is about to be on the come up. If anybody, I'm telling you right now, baseball is about to be on the come up. And one of the main reasons why baseball is about to be on the come up is because of tradition. Football ain't going nowhere, and I look for the next couple of years the NBA to kind of be on a trending downwards. This top 16 teams thing, that's not going to fly. No East and West. What about the All-Star game? Now they're just going to make what about the All-Star game? The MLB, they had a problem pushing their All-Star not even weekend, because their All-Star thing starts on a Tuesday, but their All-Star festivities, they had a problem pushing it. So what did they do? They made it so that the winner of the All-Star game, wherever National League or American League win the All-Star game, they have home field advantage for a couple of years. And then when they started getting a little bit more fans back and they started building up their popularity more, and then they switched it back. The NBA is just making some rash moves, man. And some of this stuff just does not make sense to me, and I'm not on board at all. And why is LeBron at the meeting? They trying to force LeBron, they trying to convince LeBron not to go to the Lakers, maybe. Because he's talking about that crap. Maybe that's why he was over there looking at Lonzo. Who knows, right? Anyway, I want to hear what y'all got to think about this. Leave comments down below. As always, y'all comments is way more important than my comments, because I already know what I think about this. So like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. If you ain't hit that bell yet, you playing yourself. Share, share, share. And that's all I got on this one. I'm out.